Good morning if it's morning, good afternoon if it's the afternoon. This is B. McGraw, chief editor of the Journal of Astrological Big Data Ecology, and this is my first experimental video in documenting my process for writing an article. So bear with me. I'm not a huge consumer of video content, but would like to try and get into it. So if you have any comments for me, please comment them in the YouTube chat or whatever it is. So this is a pretty good example because this week I will beginning to end an idea on a paper, which hopefully I finish it tomorrow. We'll see. I'll probably get a lot of the article done tomorrow. So, about 4 days ago, I posted this meme in Physics Memes about PFAS because I heard in the news that there was some big controversy about how the oil companies were trying to get states to allow them to put the recycling symbol on PFAS plastics when they were, in fact, not recyclable. So I thought it'd be really funny if we made. I took this meme format, which the last meme I saw of this, I believe, was one side was normal beef and the other side was a vegan burger, where the joke is, yeah, see, they're basically the same thing, where the ingredients are the standard model of elementary particles. So I figured that would be a funny joke of a meme. Is, yeah, they should both be recyclable. They're basically made out of the same stuff, right? That did well. It's funny, but there was one comment I thought was really funny. Other ones, people are recyclable. This was so great. The issue is in the arrangement of the electrons and quarks. It turns out that the positioning of these ingredients is actually very important when determining what their interactions will be. Although, if you really want to recycle everything here, you could probably just throw it in a black hole and wait for it to Hawking radiate out. Not sure why they don't just do that. It would also solve the landfill space problem. I thought that was a great idea for articles. Very Futurama professor. So did some thinking on that, and looking up some things on PFAS, and I really don't know a lot. My brother was telling me about how his main job right now is figuring out how much PFAS exposure there is at different sites right now. But we're looking into it just at a cursory ChatGPT, Wikipedia knowledge, and thinking through how would you potentially get a recyclable element out of Hawking radiation, which, to my knowledge, Hawking radiation is just radiation. It's energy and light. The only thing I know about it is this meme from Physics Memes on Twitter that I love. He's got some good content, whoever he or she is. But doing some reading around, I figure there's also the Penrose process, where if it's like lopsided, you could theoretically get stuff out of the black hole as well, taking advantage of whatever the ergosphere is. So, with enough elements for a joke paper, there it is. So I always start out with you get the concept, and then you write out the title, a novel method for the safe and effective recycling of PFAS plastics, a black hole Hawking radiation approach. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw the PFAS in a miniature black hole, and we're going to get some Penrose extraction device to get as much Hawking radiation out as we can. That's going to go into a particle accelerator. And then I haven't quite figured out this part. All of those particles, we're just going to make like a Dr. Octopus Spider-Man 2 style sun in your basement to turn all of those particles and hydrogens and heliums into heavy metals, which will hopefully be aluminum, which is highly recyclable. And then I'll make up some efficiency calculations. This is from my last dog article. He's around here somewhere. Sitting around, he might have heard him. All right, well, let's see how this turns out, and I'll document the process as I go. Hello, welcome back. I have now completed the first draft of this paper, and I'll show you a little bit of the process. Normally, I write them all, write everything, and then come back and do the pictures. But I didn't have to do as much because it was more finding the images and diagramming to help me understand what I'm going to write. So went through, made my intro, and here's the design. I'll go into detail on how the design turned out and how we got there. Yeah, it filled out really nice. One thing I always do is I just put places where references would be, and then I'll make up the references at the very end after my edit, because as I do an edit, I'll think, oh, well, that spot should have a reference and it should be something like this. Otherwise, I'll just think it in my head, like there should be a reference here. Sometimes I'll keep them, sometimes I'll take them out. So this one ended up a little shorter than normal, probably because I'm not super geeky about physics. If I ever do stats anything or algorithms anything, they end up being way too long because that's what I do for my day job. But yeah, only about 3.5 pages, so that's a good length. That's usually what I shoot for. Then I always end up going over. I'll show you how I put the pictures together. So stuff like this, I piece it together using PowerPoint, and this is a mixture of Wiki Commons and Midjourney. So obviously, you're going to find some pretty good black hole pictures. I actually think I have there's a nice GIF version of that, and this is public domain, people. You can put this on anything. I can't put a moving image on a paper, though, unfortunately. We don't live in Harry Potter world yet, so we had to do the static image. But I think that, the sun, the trebuchets, that is all Wiki Commons, public domain. And then I think I couldn't find a good public domain picture of recycling, so I had to Midjourney that. And then my Pinrose-tronaut for the Pinrose process, I Midjourneyed. I wanted it to be a cross between like a steampunk 19th century scuba diver with an astronaut holding a mason jar, and I was not going to find that online. And I believe I got the particle accelerator from Midjourney as well. I can show those responses. And then obviously the sun is from Wiki Commons. Diagrammed out some things. Tried to add in a lot of arrows every which way. Made sure it's 90 kilograms of PFAS and 300 meters. Because we always love those jokes. Maybe I was thinking about that because I just recently recorded the reading of the Rabbit article. Here's a close-up on the Pinrose-tronaut in his de-spaghettification gear and his mason jar, which keeps all of his particles fresh. So, and then this is the method for extracting heavy metals from your fusion reaction, is you get a high-powered magnet which pulls aluminum and iron out in the form of maybe trains, maybe a P-51 Mustang. I don't know what happens on the inside of the sun. It's possible. These are all public domain, talking about images. And I think every single thing on here was public domain off of Wiki Commons. Between the supernova and the lead, uranium, and I just had to pick something gold. You just look up gold and you're like, well, that works. And you go with it. It's a picture of a woman in a hoop dress, probably 18th, 19th century. Who knows? So, for those that don't know, so because we do end up putting these online and into books, we do have to manage image rights. And if you don't know, if you go on Wikimedia Commons, this isn't really like a thing you have to do if you're only making memes. Because no one in their right mind is going to sue someone for using a copywritten image for a meme. It's just not worth your effort. But I'm not going to take chances. When you post it on your own website, you're kind of running the risk. You never mess with Disney. So this was some lead. I didn't find any good lead pictures here. Almost did Led Zeppelin. Here's the gold. I think we went with, where's the gold lady? Oh, I can't find her. She's in there somewhere. Then, anyway, very nifty. You can select no restrictions or all licenses, and it has the way to cite everything. It's really, really great tool if you don't know about it. Obviously looked at some YouTube videos, everything. So here we are, and I'm about to do a final run-through edit, and then I will write my references and then post it on WordPress. So, oh, I should show you. Where is... I have a Discord here where I make all these things. I've been tempted to let people jump on this Discord. For those that don't mid-journey, this is kind of like what the process looks like. I started with full ring particle accelerator. Oh, there's Renee Dog Cart. So I'm like, I kind of want it to be aerial view. So aerial view, white background. And then I think I varied a couple of those till I got one that looked about right. It did not know how to make a trebuchet. I had to use some other diagram for that. Like, really had no idea. Wasn't worth it. If you can't do it in a couple things and there's an open source public domain image, it's just not worth it. Yeah, I settled on that one, and then kind of chose some different steampunk astronaut crossed with a 19th century scuba diver holding a jar, because they need to put their Hawking radiation in something that's going to keep it fresh. Ended up with that. It's pretty quick. New mid journeys. And this is surprising with stock images. Like, I'm not going to pay for a stock image when I can just do this. And all the public domain ones were not quite what I was going for. So that's like quick use of that. All right. Well, I'm going to get back to editing, and then I'll video the end result. And then, through the magic of panning away and coming back, I have a finished paper. So, filled out, I had to pick a name. I went with Hubert Spence, who is my fictional author from the StarCraft paper and et al. I figure I can reuse them for physics things that aren't written by second graders. Went through, filled out all the references. They're all down here. There's Dempster Dewey Dumpster. I have a new project that uses a Dempster averaging or something. I got to read more about that. Did my editing, wasn't too bad. There was one section, I think around my stellar heavy metal generation, I had to do some heavy editing. Must have been distracted. I was at a bar writing that with the foster dog Barney Barnes, who we're now calling Rusty. That was one of my last papers, but brought out a "Please Adopt Me" sign, and I was getting very distracted by all the people coming up to pet him. It was good. Still no luck on that. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. I had to go through, increase the font size on my pictures, but it's all looking pretty good. So it's a little bit more readable. You know, once I actually put this in a book, I'm sure it's still not going to be big enough, and they're going to want even more or larger, more readable font. So now I'll just export this as a PDF and upload to WordPress. So see this soon, although I'm probably not posting this video until it's already published. And to get ahead of all of the comments about how I should be writing in LaTeX, I do write some in LaTeX if the math and equations is more than like a few equations. I usually do it. Otherwise, it is so annoying to translate papers back from LaTeX to Word just so editors can look at it, because usually it's worth paying an editor to look at it, and there are almost no editors that speak LaTeX. Otherwise, I would do everything in LaTeX. But alright, I hope you enjoyed the process video. Yeah, I'm just experimenting. Vlogging's weird. Talking to yourself. It's very strange, but we'll see how it goes. Just experimenting. Y'all have a good one, and if this inspired you to write a paper, let me know, and we can work on it together. It's a really fun hobby. All right, see y'all.